The director of the NFL Scouting Combine is on the same footing as I am when it comes to Travis Hunter, and we got to talk about what that means and why I am so excited for this NFL Scouting Combine. What's up, kinfolk? It's RJ Young. I am not on a step mill. If this is your first time watching the #1 college football show, welcome. Thank you for joining us here. We talk college football year-round here, and it is NFL Scouting Combine time, which means that we're going to talk about the top prospects and what they are doing or not doing. I don't know that we're going to go blow for blow with the NFL Scouting Combine, which begins on Thursday, February 25th, and goes all the way through March 2nd. But there are some storylines that already start to creep up as we are getting closer and closer to who is going to not just show up, but who is going to participate in some of the drills. And if you're a top 5 candidate at any of your positions, most of the time, it behooves you to show up to these things. I'm talking about offensive tackles. I'm talking about defensive ends. I'm talking about defensive backs. But if you are a quarterback or a Heisman Trophy finalist, that's not always in your best interest, right? This goes all the way back to Deion Sanders saying, hey, look, what do I need to go through the NFL Scouting Combine for? And what do I need to talk to anybody past 5 for, past 10? If you got to pick in the later part of the round, don't talk to me because I'm going to be gone before you get to me. Since then, we've seen more high-profile, mostly quarterbacks but players, choose not to participate in the NFL Scouting Combine. That does not mean that they do not, show out, work out for NFL personnel. They usually do it on premises that are controlled by them and or by the college that they last played for. This is why we have pro days, and this is why pro days have become even more important. For one, you're going to get to see that player participate in a combine-type setting if you are looking to draft at number 1, number 2, number 3. And pro days are more important because they give guys that aren't inside of that 329-member group of folks invited to the combine an opportunity to show off what they got and perhaps get snatched in the later part of the rounds. Or in some cases, some guys that are journeymen in the NFL are looking to show that they still got it, right? Pro days serve all sorts of functions for this. And Colorado's pro day is going to be very well attended, right? We know this because they've got 2 of the best players in the sport eligible for the draft this year. Both of those guys will probably be selected in the first round. One is Shedeur Sanders, who we'll talk about a little bit later. And the other one's Travis Hunter. And the reason that I wanted to do this segment is because Jeff Foster came out and told the AP, look, we have told him if he wants to go through the combine at defensive back and receiver, we will not only allow it, we will be enthusiastic about it. He even went as far as to say, look, I just need to know if he wants to be in both groups so that we could assign him to a group. Whether or not he participates in both of those things, we'll see. Whether or not he participates in any of the drills. But defensive backs and wide receivers are back-to-back days. And working out on bench press or throwing the 40 down, if he chooses to do those things, probably won't be things he's asked to do on back-to-back days because that would just be stupid. You ask him to do one on one day or go through the entire process of the measurements and the weightlifting on, say, the day before, and you ask him to do everything else on the next day. It's a really interesting problem logistically to sort out, and that's what Jeff Foster is there to do, right, is to try to make the best possible environment for those 329 athletes invited to the combine at Lucas Oil Stadium and to make this a seamless process for the teams to go through the process they want to go through, which is not just watching the players on the field, but conducting their individual meetings with the players. I will be very curious to find out what questions we know get asked of Shedeur Sanders, Travis Hunter, Ashton Jeanty, all the way down, because sometimes you got 1 or 2 guys in there that just decide they're going to act out. And they're going to try to act out because they're going to try to draw out some personality that they think is latent underneath said athlete. I've always thought this was stupid to do because you're not going to learn anything you can really take with you in that meeting. Mostly you're just going to confirm bias. You either like the dude or you don't. It's very rare that you walk into a place where you have one opinion of a person and they flip it on you inside of that one meeting. It's usually exposure, 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 exposure. It's one of those things that I believe in, especially if you've been paying attention to the growth of this show, which is at 131,000 subscribers. My goodness, man. Started this 7 years ago in an efficiency apartment where I had the bed here, I had the sink there, and we had a little corner over here where I was pointing myself into my iPhone, cutting up an iMovie. But consistency was my friend, right? Being exposed to many people over and over again was my friend. about the 9th time, people begin to hear you, right? And as I've been saying for, goodness me, 2 years now, Travis Hunter needs to be able to play both ways in the NFL. Everybody else goes, that's unthinkable. Right? You don't do that at the professional football level. And there's a couple of reasons as to why they think they're right? The economists will tell you, hey, you're going to be doing more work for less money. That's just the way that it is. They're not going to pay you to be a wide receiver and a defensive back. They're going to pay you to be a defensive back or wide receiver, right? Now, whatever that number is will be very interesting to see. Thought I hit the wrong button there for a second, dog. I was freaking out. What they're going to pay you is going to be commensurate with what position you get drafted at. And wide receivers get paid way more than defensive backs get paid. So that makes all the sense in the world to me. But Hunter being able to show he can do this is not something he's going to be able to put on display at the combine. Now, as much as I would love to see Travis Hunter work out the NFL scouting combine, I would not advise him to do such a thing. Why wouldn't I do that? Because the guys that he is going to be compared to are dudes he's already cleared. All right? We know he's the best player in college football. There is no longer any debate on that. He has the Heisman Trophy. We also know he's the best wide receiver in football. Why? Because he has the Biletnikoff Award, which is given to the best wide receiver in the sport. And we know that he's the best defensive player in college football because the Chuck Bednarik Award, given to the nation's top defensive player, was given to him too. The Thorpe Award continues to look stupid on this one because they didn't even make that man a finalist, which I still haven't got a good reason and rationale for why that is, right? I think it's petty at this point. But that is not to take away from Jahdae Barron, who was a worthy candidate and worthy of winning that award. It just looks real odd that the best defensive player is not also the best player at his position. Make me understand. But, I also am getting away from the point. And the point is, if he is going to participate in the scouting combine against other college athletes, which he is, what's the point of that? What are you going to learn? What you would like to see is, can Travis Hunter hold Justin Jefferson in check? That's what I want to see. I want to see if Travis Hunter can put his hands on Jamar Chase. That's what I want to see. I want to see if Travis Hunter can blow the doors off of Jalen Ramsey. That's what I want to see. I want to see if Travis Hunter can line up across from Cooper DeJean and cook that man on a go route. That's what I want to see. I'm not going to get to see that till September at the very earliest, if I get to see that at all, right? So what are we actually talking about? We're talking about the NFL doing what I think it should do. Let the teams and that man decide what he is going to do. Get out of the way. And the way the scouting combine is going about this is very cool, right? It's very cool. It is to say, we recognize one of a kind. We recognize the closest thing we have in college football, or in football, to Shohei Ohtani, right? We recognize the potential of a burgeoning superstar at the professional level, and we're going to treat that man with different rules than we treat everybody else. But if you are asking me, do I think that Travis Hunter needs to do anything other than show up and say hi at the NFL scouting combine? I would say absolutely, positively not. That boy, that man, got everything that he needs to show you right there. All you are arguing about is what you are willing to pay him to do both jobs. And for that, I really ain't got no defense except to say I would do what I'm doing, right? Like, I'm always going to do what I'm going to do. Meaning, he has so much fun playing both ways, and he enjoys it, and he conditions the body for it. He likes to prepare for it. If you are a football team, you know you're getting two players for the price of one. Okay. The other part about that I think, is also real is wear and tear. As much as he's taking care of himself, and he will continue to take care of himself, playing 1,500 snaps is a non-starter for most people in the NFL because they want to protect the investment. Even if they're already getting two for the price of one, they would like to stretch that two for the price of one all the way until they don't have to anymore. Why would you run your car into the ground, right, if you don't have to? Just let that man do what he needs to do to stay in shape. So I think we're going to see spot duty at one or the other. But his value to a football team probably comes on the defensive side of the ball because it is harder to play defense than it is to play offense. But if you're looking to sell tickets, if you're looking to have a guy that's jersey's going to go through the roof, you're going to have him play wide receiver. And you know what? I think his soul is in playing wide receiver. The man caught damn near 100 passes for nearly 1,300 yards, 15 TDs last year. Yeah, he likes playing receiver. And you know what? I would rather catch touchdowns than defend dudes from catching touchdowns. Or more to the point, I would rather moss somebody than get mossed. The likelihood of a receiver mossing a defensive back is like 9 out of 10 times. I know where the ball's going. I got a chemistry with that quarterback. He knows where I like to put it, and I'm about to put you on a poster. And ain't nobody able to put a person on a poster quite like Travis Hunter.